Well, hello, 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 and welcome, my Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your soulmate reading for February 2020, or timeless, whenever you actually get to see it. It should apply. It's supposed to, right? I am your reader, Markangelo Lyons, Mal for short, president of Joining the Circle Productions, professional, rich, professional, intuitive, and very, very honored to be reading for you today. Really enjoying my new career on YouTube. I'm getting clients from all over the place, all over the world. Really kind of fun and exciting, considering I've been reading face-to-face with people for decades, right, in person. So a real wonderful opportunity here, and very, very happy about it. If you are new to my channel, please do like and subscribe. I'm getting closer and closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers so that I can do super live chat and other cool stuff like Drunk Tarot. There's a description, there's a link in the description box below explaining what Drunk Tarot is. It's my favorite video, 2019, so go check that out. And I'm sure you'll want to see me do it at least once, and I'm only going to do it for the first couple of months unless people absolutely insist that I keep doing it, right? Just for shits and giggles. Let's get down to this reading, though. For starters, you always have to say on YouTube, this is a general read. Please take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and check your other signs. It's impossible to read for every single person precisely in a zodiacal collective, let alone Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and then in relationships. That's a lot. It's a lot of variations in the quantum field. So please take what percentages of clarity you can get. Take them in, breathe it in, check your intuitive responses as you go through the readings, and of course check your other signs. That's why I try and keep them fun and informative. I'm a spiritual teacher as well as a reader, so whatever they tell me to kind of say, in a way, it comes out of my mouth. So let's have fun with this, because the soulmate readings are my favorite ones, I think, so far. Because what a soulmate is a soul contract, and it is different than twin flame. They're not the same thing. The soulmates, the bottom line of the contract is that you help each other heal. In other words, you're a soul that was chosen to play the role of in the body with the name that you have in this life. Whether you've changed it or not doesn't matter. You contract, it's written in that you're going to have certain types of relationships with certain people, your mother, your father, you know, all of that. But this is about helping other souls heal, but it's mutual, it's satisfying, it's symbiotic, right? Much easier, may not have the heat necessarily of a twin flame, but definitely you help each other heal. And it's in every possible kind of relationship patterning you could think of, right? Not just the romantic sexual, but these reads are about the romantic sexual. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, satisfying soulmate contracts, right? That's the one we've all been working for. We all know the romantic, sexual, intimate ones are the hardest, right? Because family's family. You're going to come around or never speak to them again one way or the other. But lovers can really get deeper. It's an more intimate soul, closer to some aspects of the soul, right? Different than mother and child. That's a totally different bond. It's a different kind of true love, but love is love. You with me? So we're going to look at this as a contract. Now, I was raised by a teacher and a lawyer, so I've got vocabulary and I understand contracts in the detail, but this is a general read, a general contract. So we're going to look at party number 1, and party number 2 is divine feminine and divine masculine. Has nothing to do with biological gender. You just have to make sure that's very, very clear every single time I do a reading like this. You just have to make sure that is clear, because I myself consider myself a divine feminine. I'm a gay male, right? I have purple hair. You can't see it. Overtone, purple for brown. God, I hope they sponsor me. I just want some free shit every now and again. But you know, you put me with the right guy, I'm a divine masculine. So we're all fluid in that aspect, which is why I prefer divine yin and divine yang. But people don't know what I'm talking about in the West. So it's just better that I say divine feminine and divine masculine, because that's what all the other readers are saying. So let's work with the vernacular, shall we? Last thing, probably the most important thing, please do remember to be conscious of your breath, to breathe when at least you're doing a reading with me, because I am doing the same thing. Inspiration and respiration, right? Tuning me to the now, to the still point. like this silent bell that I ring in the center of my heart chakra that just plugs me into the divine pantheons. So like I breathe, it goes in and up, and then the information comes down and through. So if you're doing the same on your end, tuning to the same moment of now, because there is only the now, though we are separated in time and space, you are tuning to that same vibration of the divine. So you're going to get the reading on a different level than I can, because it's personal, which will also help you sift and sort through any reading. What's yours? Take where it resonates, leaves what doesn't. And believe me, at the supermarket, right? Going all sorts of things, right? Just ring that silent bell. Cool, cool. Let's do this. We're going to start with Caroline Myss archetype cards to get divine feminine, divine masculine, just a jumping off point. Sometimes they're similar. I think that happened yesterday, I think, 2 divine family archetypes. I forget which reading. So that's why we're going to use other cards to clarify. So if you don't know which side you are right away, unless you are definitely a divine masculine or definitely a divine feminine, no matter what, again, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Cool, cool. Nice deep breath. Here we go. Oh, I need one more. Still point. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please, 2 cards, one for the divine feminine and one for the divine masculine in this Sagittarian collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign soulmate contract for February 2020 or timeless, please. Who is our divine feminine here? I always deal them face down from now on. I have been. And one for the divine masculine, please, my pantheons. Thank you for putting him right in my hand. Okay, before I flip these over and reveal who our happy soulmate couple is, keep in mind archetypes are neutral. That's why in this deck, Caroline Myss, brilliant teacher that she is, has the shadow as well as the light attribute. I prefer the language of alchemy, the lead and the gold, the toxic, which is moving towards healing. And why this is important in a soulmate contract, because what's the foundation of a soulmate contract? You're helping each other heal. So this is the stuff that you're going to help each other heal. Whether you've met or not yet, you will. This stuff has to, if you can see what's going on the planet, all of our relationships are helping to heal the world, right? Relationships between nations, the macros and the micro. So that's the quantum for you. Let's have a look and see who we are dealing with. Oh, lovely couple. A divine feminine companion. The companion is actually a member of the healing family of archetypes, and I have it. Comes and goes as, reason, season, or lifetime. It comes for a season, then it goes for a season or 2. But I love the companion. It's sort of like the sidekick, the best friend, really. But also as we get older, as the hormones have done, what the hormones have done, we might be settling more into, I want my companion. And you have so many soulmates that are companions to you in many different ways. Partner in crime, like help me bury the body friend, right? But this is romantic sexual, but that's so lovely for a divine feminine. Now the shadow is really toxic. That's why whenever you get an archetype that, that feels so wonderful, understand the lead, the shadow is equally as toxic and as terrifying, perhaps, as the shadow is in an archetype, is as brilliant and bright as the light is. They're equal, they're neutral, so one always balances the other. So for the divine masculine, we've got that gambler. Throw the dice and steal the rice, my gambler. Definitely part of the action family, right? Because the gambler is usually about taking an action of some kind. So digging these 2 a lot. Let's read the divine feminine. The shadow attribute, betrayal. They write the writing on this in yellow. Thanks. Betrayal by misusing confidences, loss of personal identity, right? So it's sort of like cuddling up to somebody, getting all their secrets, and then like misusing what they've told you, as well as losing yourself. Like they always give me this word toady, right? That you've got the bully and then you've got the toady. Well, the toady is completely dependent on the bully, so they sort of lose their power and their identity, their sense of self within the bully-toady relationship, right? So that's the real shadow side of the companion. I told you it's a little ooky. It's a lot of ooky. The light attribute, loyalty, Jeez, could they make this any lighter? Loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. Why don't they just write it in white ink on white paper? So that's really the thing. Loyalty. This is obviously someone who has been through it. God, I can feel it. Maybe not obvious to the eye, but obvious to the third eye and to the empathic energy on this card. Like, this person has been betrayed. This person has dealt with repetitive lessons of loyalty, and yet as a result has remained, or might have lost but regained, her unselfishness. Now, I remember I'm saying his and her because we're just talking divine masculine and divine feminine. Please just deal with that. Because our divine masculine gambler, well, this is much easier to read, in the shadow, relying on luck rather than hard work. Look, maybe you're not a bricklayer, right? That's hard work. But we're also talking about perhaps psychological work, emotional work, mental work, spiritual work. It's all worth it. People go, oh, it's so hard. I go, yeah, but it's your path, right? It's like you're a soul. You came in to do this stuff in some level. You can put it off as much as you want. That's your free will and choice. Free will does not mean that you get to choose the curriculum. It just means you get to choose what you want to take at a certain time. Course in Miracles, the introduction, right? So, you know, relying on luck, well, maybe I'll just, you know, well, I may have a codependent pattern, but, you know, let's just see how this next one goes, right? Without actually doing the work, expecting something different to happen, and insanity. So the light attribute, willingness to follow intuition, even when others doubt you. I love that, right? Because that's when the societal tribal pressure, right? Or even the pressure of another person, you know, it's like you're getting that intuitive thing, and the codependent urge to like, well, but if I do that, what will they think? What will they feel? Meanwhile, your soul is saying, do it, right? Or don't do it. Yeah, the compromises that we make. It's a really big deal, and it actually has a biological effect, a physiological effect on your health as you go. So there's something about being the gambler, a very empowering archetype, but in its shadow, really toxic, not great. But that's how it goes. If you're not clear which one you are here, don't worry. We're going to take 5 of the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, do fire, earth, air, water, spirit, and we'll do the same thing for the divine masculine with the mythic tarot. Been really enjoying this because when they both get like the same cards in different decks, it's like, oh, there's no way anybody could orchestrate that. That's the gods. So yeah, this is going to be the voice of the collective divine feminine, which is the goddess, right? The goddesses, whatever you want to call it. Fire, earth, air, water, spirit. You'll hear me call out what the positions mean as we go. Cool, cool, nice, deep breath. Still point. My goddesses, please. Top 5 cards. Top 5 cards for this divine feminine companion archetype in this Sagittarian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign soulmate contract for February 2020, or timeless. So fire, what does she want? Earth, what does she have to help her get what she wants? Air, what is she thinking? Water, what is she feeling? And spirit, what is the voice or the point of view of the soul for this divine feminine in this Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign soulmate, sexual, intimate, romantic soulmate contract for February 2020. Maiden, Mother, Crone, or timeless. Okay, we're good. Oh, they know anyway. I'm gonna do a video either today or tomorrow of me blessing the decks, maybe even for this, not this particular spread, but using it because it's got all the decks that I usually use. So you'll see how much goes into this before I do this. Power of fire. What's our power of fire? Remember, we're dealing with the companion archetype here, divine feminine companion, the healing family of archetypes. Keep that in mind. I have a feeling that's relevant. So what does she want? All right. So she starts off, what she wants is the 7 of Cups. In the Rider-Waite Tarot, it's those cups in the clouds, each a different thing that we fantasize and we want for because we have emotional attachment to them, perhaps. Can be about addiction, right? It's like, I'll be happy when, right? Meanwhile, you're not going to be happy until you get that, right? Sometimes the only way to make your way through is to be happy where you are in the now, just saying. In this deck, the 7 of Cups is called jealousy. And I'll tell you something about jealousy. Everybody experiences it. Now, on one level, let's be clear, there is envy, the deadly sin of envy. But jealousy is a little bit different. It's sort of the voice of the inner child that really, 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 really wants something, but is impatient and angry and pissed off that other people have it. So it's like, when the fuck is it my turn, damn it? But we have to give that voice without acting on it. And of course, the garbage men are here, so you're going to hear a lot of noise if I don't magic clap us out of time for a minute. So I will be right back. It's so funny, like, lifts up the dumpster thing and does it over its head, I guess. And it's right outside my window. I watch the whole thing happen. It just cracks me up when I'm doing it. It's distracting, right? And you would definitely hear the boop, boop, boop as it beeps its way backwards, right? So no. So as I was saying, there's the deadly sin of envy, but jealousy is more like that little child within, throwing a little bit of a tantrum. So here's the thing. This is how I learned to heal jealousy within myself. I mean, who knows if I'm done. I'm clearing it for the collective as well, I'm sure. But the moment I start to catch a whiff of the green-eyed monster, I go, oh, okay, we really want this. All right, sweetheart. And I know that child needs my love. The voice of jealousy, whatever that's coming from, needs more love, not less. But only we can give it that love. And getting it what it wants isn't necessarily going to heal the jealousy, right? Because it's symbolic of something. What it really wants is love and satisfaction. So whatever it is that she wants, there's a lot of emotion attached to it here, whether or not jealousy is there. Seven of Cups really can mean that it is fantastic, right? In the sense of it being, wow, it's so fantastic, or indeed a thing of fantasy. Maybe she is fantasizing about it, but we'll have a look at the element of air, the mental aspect. Cool. So what is the earth that feeds the fire, the wick and wax that feeds the flame of the candle? Lovely. Ten of Pentacles. She's good, right? I mean, if you're going to get a card in the Earth position, get the Ten of Pentacles. The fulfillment of the suit of Earth. Harvest. So she really has gathered quite a bit, which does sort of really give me that hit in my belly here that the majority of the collective isn't necessarily jealous, but oh, this thing that they want is like a dream. I fantasize about it so, which... intimate, romantic, sexual, right? Soulmate contracts. We've been trying to make these happen for thousands of years, so many lifetimes, right? But keep in mind, we've only had psychology for what, 200 years plus maybe, right? So the whole idea of codependent and the psychological abuse and being triggered and all that stuff and trauma, right? How long has that word been around? Again, in this lifetime, we're manifesting them. That's when the world needs it. The more soulmate love on the planet, oh, the faster this world is going to fulfill its mission as we fulfill ours. It's just the quantum. What can I say? There are some who say that in the timeline, this is already done. We're just watching the movie, enjoying it this time through. Let's see. Let's have a look-see-took-see at the element of air since, whoops, I reversed those. Since there does seem to be this imagining aspect element of air. Interesting. The Nine of Flames, which is the Nine of Wands. And I love this card because she's got the 9, but she's looking, what's over that hill? What's over that hill? The Wanderer, the card is called. So, though, yes, in the Rider-Waite, the traditional tarot, you got the guy with the bandage. He goes this way. He's like, don't you touch my staffs. Don't you touch my wands. Don't touch my wands. Ollivander. A little defensive. This is more like, I'm really good. I've amassed so much. I've fulfilled so many things that I want, but there's just that one thing on the horizon for which my heart doth yearn, right? So the mind is really about, okay, I'm good, but she's good, but there is a unscratched itch going on here, and it is element of fire, so it's interesting. It's reflecting back to the position of fire. There is definitely an emotional itch here that it's on her mind. It's on her mind, and that makes sense for soulmate contract. Let's see the element of water. What's happening in her emotional field? 2 tens, 10 of cups, 10 of cups. She's in love. She's in ecstasy. These two have to know each other. I don't know how you get to a 10 that way. I mean, unless the visualization is so fulfilling that you're sort of having like spontaneous orgasms. I mean, granted, that's more element of earth. But this element of water, Inanna's house of heaven, is ecstasy. It is literally written on the card. Now, keep in mind, Inanna, the goddess Inanna, Innana, if you want to look it up, I would, because there's something in there having to do with going into the underworld and embracing the shadow, Erishkigal, her sister. And remember, I said this companion with this loyalty feels like she's been through it. She's been to the underworld. She's been through hell. Just have that feeling. Maybe not everyone in this collective, but I'm feeling that. Hence this sense of completion. This can even be about wisdom, right? She's had so much experience. Yeah, we put wisdom up in the third eye, but that's sometimes knowledge. Knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. Like, she might have really harvested a lot of hard-won wisdom in her life. So what she's feeling, this is either innate, really, like she's done the work, however that plays, psychological, spiritual, whatever, but has that overflowing, beautiful emotional joy in her, if not completely always in life, and if they haven't met yet, about really, really wanting this. And then I would understand why, even if there is jealousy there, you've got 7, about a 10. I get it. Now, we are going to clarify all of this. We're going to use the Healing with the Angels Oracle deck to put another 5 on top of these. No, sorry, we're only going to do 1 for the center, 1 for the center. It's a different reading. So if you're not sure if this is completely you, because everybody kind of wants that, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this reading. So we'll see what pops up with the other cards. What's the spirit? This card I think is very important because it says, here's the voice of, or the point of view of the soul, the truth of who you are, who was chosen to play this role. And we are looking at the only major arcana card of the 5, the card of the world, the card of the universe, Shakti, the life dancer. There's another name to research, Shakti, Hindu goddess. Now, if you think of the card of the universe or the world, it is the last card in the major arcana before it reboots at the Fool. Now, in this deck, it's called the Dreamer, not the Fool, but it's the Fool card, which is the 0, and then usually the Magician, in this deck, the Witch. It's a feminine deck. Not that witch is feminine, it's gender neutral, but drawn as a woman. Clarify, gotta be careful. You'll get canceled and dragged if you're not careful on YouTube. So Shakti, the life dancer, there really is. She's in a place of completions right now, which is certainly indicated with the 10 of Pentacles in Earth. By the way, the Earth position, the Earth card in the Earth position, and the 10 of Cups water in the water position. So I could see why she's like, all right, but where's my guy? Where's my divine masculine? I'm good. So it doesn't feel like she's coming from this horrible, straining, drained, bad place, rough place. Feels like she's come full circle and is ready to begin again. Soon. Don't know exactly yet. But, my God, what she wants, and really, if there is jealousy there, it's understandable, but do the inner child work. Let that child have its voice. Let it cry. Let it scream. Just don't let it drive. Yeah. Let's do the same for the divine masculine. Let's see how the counterpart is. Nice deep breath. We're going to talk to the gods, the point of view of the divine collective, divine masculine, half the universal energy. Nice deep breath. Oh my God, I felt that on the exhale. Oh, I guess I was just waiting to exhale. Ooh, you're delicious, my gods. Hello, my gods, please. Top 5 cards, element spread for this Sagittarian collective. Got a little buzz off that breath. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs and their soulmate contracts. This divine masculine gambler archetype in the Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, soulmate contract for February 2020, or timeless, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise. Top 5 cards. Fire, what does he want? Air, earth, what does he have to help him get what he wants? Air, what does he think about it? Water, what does he feel about it? And spirit, what is the voice or the point of view of the incarnate soul within the body of this divine masculine, generally speaking, son, father, sage, the threefold God. Let's have a look-see-duck-see. Gambler, What you want. The Star. I think the most spiritual card in the deck. What you want is that guidance and grace. What you want is your dreams to come true. What you're hoping for, please. Whatever it is that you want, please, please, please. Papa needs a new pair of shoes, right? Hoping for blackjack, right? Hoping for that roulette ball to land where you need it to land. Spin the wheel and make a deal. My gambler, loving this. So really, I mean, it really is, but that's why it's that thing of the shadow attribute relying on luck rather than hard work. Make sure you're backing this up, because the Star card isn't just a card of luck. It's a major arcana card about transcendence, right? About guidance and grace. Before we had GPS and maps and compasses, we had the stars, the North Star in particular. If you knew where Polaris was, you could at least go, oh, there's north, right? Actually, north is that way. I have this all oriented so the camera is facing north. I have a compass. I didn't have to go look outside. But it's a big deal. I love this card. It is, to me, the most spiritually high vibrational card in the deck in that sense. Because it doesn't matter who you are, the Star is there, right? It doesn't. You just have to look up, and that's the thing. Can you keep looking up? Good question. Let's find out. What's the element of Earth? What you got to make that happen? All right, Knight of Cups. There is that romantic nature here. There is that knight. Now, of the 4 knights, all riding horses, that's pretty traditional for most tarot. I've seen decks that don't do them on horses. Well, sometimes they don't even call them knights. They'll call them sons or something. This is the Piscean one. This is the Pisces knight, mutable water. So there's something here about a trot. The Gemini knight, gallop. The Sagittarian canter, slower than a gallop, right? It's so funny. Pisces trot. They're hot to trot. Got it. And the Virgo is the walk, right? They are moving forward. It doesn't look like it in most Virgo cards for the Knight of Pentacles, but you get what I'm saying there. So he's got that romantic nature. He's got that emotional, intuitive thing, which, you know, a gambler to act on your intuition even when others doubt you. So there is that Pisces connection there, whether he's a Pisces or not, or has it. Like, I'm a Pisces moon, a Virgo sun, Pisces moon, Leo rising, right? I mean, I look like a Leo, but I actually behave like a Virgo, but I'm very guided and emotionally sensitive and an empath of Pisces moon. So there's something in there, if it's not astrological, it's just in his nature to kind of quest for that, but to go with the gut, and that will totally tune him to the high vibration of the Star that he wants. So that's really, really cool. Good, good, good. Let's see what's going on in his mental field. What is he thinking? The Ace of Cups. He wants a new beginning. He wants an offer of love. Now, if these two have met, he wants to offer it. If they haven't met yet, this sort of relationship is on his mind. But I have a feeling that they have met, but they may not be able to get together if this is indeed jealousy. If not, if it's just a like fantastic sort of thing, then she is wrapping things up with that card of the universe, Shakti, the life dancer, and may be ready to receive that cup, that seed, that offer of happiness, that offer of love. Like, hey, let's go get a cup of coffee. Or maybe they've already had the cup of coffee and now it's like, kiss me already. Kiss me, you fool. Shh, don't speak. Element of water, since you got 2 out of 3 cards water so far here. All right, 2 of Pentacles. So emotionally, he's keeping his balance. He is doing his work. I really do get the feeling that this gambler has a pretty decent work ethic, at least emotionally. Must have some grasp of how to deal with emotions. You know, the psychotherapy, counseling, healing modalities galore, right? I particularly like working with my emotions through the element of air, through breath work, right? Cry it out, breathe, 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 breathe. I've done a lot of rebirthing in this life. But I love this, that really is willing to do the work. A 2 of Pentacles, you know, not that put your head down, 8 of Pentacles, keep working. But definitely like, okay, I've got my hammer and my asp. I don't know, asp is a snake. I think it's a rasp, right? Like a file. let's get to work here, like emotionally, like getting himself really in balance, not M-I-M, it's I-N in space balance. I have to be really clear when I do phone readings and people hear when I say that way. I don't think it's Long Island accent. I think it's just the two words sound alike and mean very different things. So very, very interesting. What's the soul card then? What does the soul have to say? The position of spirit. The moon. Okay? So this is a very emotional, intuitive soul, right? Like here, this is a soul who's in completion, ready to start a new cycle. Here's one that, you know, because the moon does talk about emotional confusion, meaning that it's often hard to hear the gut intuition or the voice of the soul when you're angry or when you're upset, right? Like a glass of water or something that gets shook. It needs to settle down. Well, it's not a good example, but you get what I mean. Something that the sediment needs to settle so that you can see clearly. This is Hecate, the three faces of Hecate, looking in the three directions of the crossroads where three roads meet. So feeling this out for sure, but this really says to me, with Major Arcana cards for a soulmate contract, they're going to meet. It's going to be emotional, but I don't know that she's on a soul level ready, but this can also really mean that she, again, has those tens in place, that she's got herself together. This is just a matter of time, whether they have met or not. The healing has already begun. Yeah, there's definitely, that's the feeling, whether they are aware of it or not, even if they're not engaging in healing practices. Cool. What we're going to do now is use the Doreen Virtue Healing with the Angels Oracle to get one for each of them. What is the healing angel that they are walking in to this with, or is with them in this contract for February 2020? Cool. Again, nice deep breath. Let's tune to the angels in the still point. Still point. Thank you. My angels, please. One card for the Divine Feminine, one card for the Divine Masculine. For this Sagittarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign soulmate contract for February 2020 are timeless, please. One for the Divine Feminine. What's the angel that walks with her in this contract? Face down. I don't know what it is yet. And one for the Divine Masculine Gambler. Same thing. What is the angel that walks with him? Who she got? Body care. Good. She is taking care of herself. Right? Eating right, exercising, resting, everything that she needs to take care of herself, fixing up her home, getting herself, well, because she is in a completion phase. So it is kind of that thing of, all right, wrapping up this old, but in a very strong, solid, and I would say physically and emotionally fulfilling way, right? Her nervous system needs to be able to handle that, and it does, and it feels like it is with this dream, this fantasy, if not jealousy, calling her forward. Body care. Feels like she's got the interior infrastructure to handle it. Who's with him? Answered prayer. I'm telling you, this gambler feels like a really fun time. With that card of the star and the moon, it's there's so much. I almost want to say, in some ways, maybe more. That's a weird way to say it. Practically intuitive. Than the Divine Feminine, like in terms of the risks that he takes. Like, I don't get this foolhardy, stupid energy here. Like, I don't get the shadow side so much. It's like, well, let's just fucking see what happens, right? Without doing the work. Feels like the work is being done. Really does trust his intuition. But also, I think as a result, is really lucky, right? The answer to your prayer, please, oh please, oh please, oh please, crapshoot. Probably like, I really, really like her. I really, really like her. Please, oh please, oh please, oh please, oh please. And feels like it's going, well, it's a soulmate contract. It's going to work out. It's just how do they want to play it, right? Sorry, just aligning the cards. I am a Virgo. Let's put you where you belong. Answered prayer card. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to take a one deck that has been divided in two. The Chuck Spezzano Love Pack. Very Course in Miracles, I think, a really great oracle system, if you want to call it that. for relationships. There are cards in here that are very relationship oriented. So half of the deck I took out the problem suit because it's good to know the problem. The other half of the deck are sort of like the remedies. Maybe that's a good way to say it. Like, as you get a problem or the solutions, I guess you could say. The suit of luck, the suit of healing, and the suit of grace. Cool. So we're going to get one of each for both of them. So 4 in total, right? So we're going to start with the problem because it's good to know, like, what's the problem, right? Let's not get the remedy before the problem. Nice deep breath. We're going to ask the Ascended Masters. Still point. Hey, kitty. My Ascended Masters, please. What is the problem for the Divine Feminine and the problem for the Divine Masculine in this Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign soulmate contract for February 2020 are timeless, please. The Divine Feminine and one for the Divine Masculine. That was very easy. Thank you very much. That was very easy. I actually enjoyed that. We're not going to look at those just yet. We're just going to put them in place because now we're going to get the piece of luck, the piece of grace, or the piece of healing for them, right? So, my masters, please, same contract, one for the Divine Feminine and one for the Divine Masculine in the Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Soulmate contract, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual relationship contract. What is the piece of luck, the piece of grace, or the piece of healing for this Divine Feminine that she brings? Same thing for the masculine. What does he bring? So the problem and the healing luck or grace is what they are bringing with them, either in general or in particular in this contract. So let's start with the problem for the Divine Feminine. What was the word I kept using for this? Like fantastic, like a fantasy? Well, she got the fantasy card. So there may be some things going on in this Divine Feminine's desires here that may not be wholly accurate. Now, it doesn't mean we're not allowed to want everything. You know, people say anything is possible. I go, well, I can't transform myself into Nell Carter like that. And if I did, wouldn't you freak the fuck out, considering she's been dead, I think, since the 90s? Right? And it's like, no, I don't think there's any quantum probability threat, infinite possibilities. I don't think that one exists, right? And I choose her because it's the exact opposite body type, right? As a female, short, fat, black woman, right? Here I am. I'm a tall, straight, and, gay male, right? White gay male. So there's an element of fantasy here. And what's so funny about this card, the dude's hanging out on a hammock, like in a barren wasteland, and just imagining that everything is perfect. So that's not visualizing necessarily. This is really believing something that's not true, being lost in a fantasy. What's the Divine Masculine here? Manipulation, which you gotta say, the gamblers, it's what they do, right? Particularly with people, like they often play Peter against Paul. Instead of borrow from Peter to pay Paul, they play Peter against Paul, right? So manipulation. Now the question is, who manipulated him? We learned how to manipulate somehow, either by watching somebody else doing it, but more likely we got manipulated, never healed from the wound, and then become manipulative, right? So tricky there, but they're going to help each other heal this, and let's see what they bring to help with that. Well, here's the thing for the Divine Feminine companion here. She's got the luck card of floating on air. Now, floating on air with fantasy, that's tricky, right? Because she may not really see what's going on. Now, because this is a soulmate contract, they're going to help each other heal. Maybe this is warranted. Could be that this is better than she fantasizes because it's actually going to help her heal and could become, in time, a healthy relationship, which is really floating on air, where there is clarity, where you meet on not at every level exactly the same all the time. There's always flux in every relationship. We're all shifting. That's why I do the Path of True Love readings. That's your individual path of relationships for spiritual growth and healing, becoming true love. But in a contract like this, I'm just going to say, sweetheart, if you're the Divine Feminine companion, get that you might have some ideas going on here that are really may feel wonderful, but I think what is actually here is in some ways more important than you just getting the fantasy realized. And I just said this to somebody yesterday. We were talking about Piscean energy because I'm a Pisces moon, and I say, well, you know, your fantasies realized never feel as good as the fantasies themselves, and it's so true. No matter how good you think the cake is going to be, it's never as good as you imagined it to be. But that's what calls us forward. So nothing wrong. We are completely, give yourself permission to want what you want, but get that what's actually going on here feels like it's a bigger, better deal. So what is he bringing to the table? Giving, right? So even though he's maybe dealing with some manipulation, may not always tell the truth. Gamblers are gamblers. They take risks like crazy. There is a real healing. This is one of the healing suits, one of the healing cards in the healing suits. Giving, really wanting to give his best, wanting to give his attention, wanting to give his love and his emotion to this. So this might actually, it's a soulmate contract. That's why I do these, so that we know, bottom line, the soul contract is you're here to help each other heal. But I feel like even if that, because it wouldn't be a problem if it was self-manipulation in the sense of, well, I'm going to heal myself, I'm going to look at this different. I just hope he's not playing her fantasy. Well, he might be playing her fantasy and not even knowing it, right? This feels like it could be a young thing, like not a young in terms of age, but a newish relationship, particularly with that Ace of Cups. Yeah. All right. We've got 3 more cards to put down on the table. 2 of them, the Whispers of Love Oracle, which I adore. 1 for the Divine Feminine, 1 for the Divine Masculine. The voices of the higher selves of all involved. Let's have a look. Breathe. Still point. The higher selves of all involved, please. 2 cards, 1 for the Divine Feminine, 1 for the Divine Masculine in this Sagittarian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Sorry, something going on outside my window. Where was I? This Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, soulmate contract for February 2020 are timeless. Please, voices of the higher selves, please. 1 for the Divine Feminine, 1 for the Divine Masculine. There we go. All right, let's have a look. So just a weird noise. Don't know what that is. Well, you know, as a clairvoyant, yeah, my first thing is like, huh? I was like, oh, that's outside. Particularly when I'm working like this. All right, so what's the message of the higher self for this Divine Feminine companion? Receive with love and appreciation, which is interesting because he's got the giving. So for her to actually receive. Receiving something lovingly from others is a way of showing love, whether it's an invitation, a cup of coffee, a compliment, no matter what it is. Divine Feminine, be the Divine Feminine, receptive, receive. Lovely. For the Divine Masculine, gambler, romance, lavish, the one that you love with your personal attention and affection. So absolutely this dude's in love with her. Might be new for him in a way with that Ace of Cups and willing to do the work. He's willing to take the risk, but again, you know, the eye's going to go towards the card of manipulation sitting right in front of me. Might be a player, right? Well, gambler is playing the game, but I feel like this might be the end of his game playing, or he's going to play himself. Because remember, she's got hers, right? She's got her 9 of flames. She may very well even be protecting and defending that what she's got. So, the dream that she has may not be about him. It might be about, you know, her fantasy. And why wouldn't she? She's got 10 of Pentacles in earth and 10 of Cups in water. Why wouldn't she shoot for the moon? Oh, the moon. He's got the moon card. All right. Let's get the healing mantra deck card here. I love this deck. I haven't picked mine yet for today. Usually I do that before now, but I had meditation to do. It's busy here at the Joy in the Circle home office. Before I even touch cards, what I do. Not to mention what I had to do to get fatootzed for the camera. Nice deep breath. We're going to ask the Ascended Masters for one of the Healing Mantra cards from the Healing Mantra deck by Matt Kahn, K-A-H-N. Brilliant spiritual teacher. Funny guy, too. Don't know him. Not getting any kickbacks financially from Hay House or him to promote this. I'm promoting because it really helps me. One side of the card is the mantra. The other side of the card is the name of the mantra. That's all that's written on them, because the rest of it's in the little bookie book, and that's why I read it to you. Yes, I could go purely on my own interpretation, but what he's got there is so fucking helpful, right? So let's ask the Ascended Masters, who Matt Kahn works with all the time, apparently. They gave him a tour of the Akashic Records library. I was like, it's my turn. Do we get a card? Do you get a card for the Akashic Records library? I want one. It's probably like, I don't know, ethereal selenite or something. Let's get these. Ready? Nice deep breath. Still point. My Ascended Masters, that was so delicious. Thank you, please. Just one card. One card that it doesn't matter who's saying it in this Sagittarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sign, Soulmate contract, whether it's the Divine Feminine Companion or the Divine Masculine Gambler, or both of them, if they're both watching this somehow. This mantra is to help each of them heal individually and to heal this contract where it is, as is, at least for February 2020 or timeless, the point of view they're watching this. For this Sagittarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sign, Soulmate contract, February 2020 or timeless, please. What is the ultimate healing mantra for this Soulmate contract, my masters, please? Let's see who you got. Sharing Shame. It's a really good card. Like, I'm not going to mess around. It's not all hearts and flowers with him, but it's always heart-centered truth, right? Love, without being brutal. He's not brutal. When I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. Look, these two have a soul connection to help each other heal. The truth is going to come out. They're going to share their shame, the mistakes that they made, the things that they didn't see coming and should have, right? The beautiful things they walked away from because they were afraid. I can feel that there is a depth here. Because keep in mind, it's a companion and a gambler. It feels like the two of them can really have something so satisfying here, but there needs to be a coming clean, right? I share my deepest, when I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. Let me read you from the book. I've had this one come up. Funny though, it came up because I pretty much pull one a day. It came up and I ended up not really talking to anybody that day, but I did hear a lot, I guess, is the best way to say it. So hold on, where are you? It's Q-R-S. Sharing Shame, there it is. I was raised by a nursery school teacher. Of course I sing the alphabet song. Sharing Shame, alliteration of S. When I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. When pain is shared, cycles of victimhood are permitted to heal as you find the courage to speak your truth. Now, that's the thing about the manipulation. I just got the hit on that. Because it feels like he has been manipulated, therefore has manipulated. So that might be something that he's going to share here. And by the way, if that is jealousy, that is something in the shadow. Remember, keep the shadow sides of these two in mind. When we do the overview next, you'll see. Since abuse and neglect can only be perpetuated in silence, it is your willingness to step forward and share your life's story that helps transform each wound and inspire others to be set free, which it really does. When you're honest, when you speak your unspeakables, it just heals everybody. Once your shame is shared, you are able to honor yourself with the heightened encouragement, worthiness, and validation that you deserve to receive. So this is a big self-healing thing, but boy, can it transform a relationship. This mantra is ideal for revisiting past traumas, who ain't got those, expressing your inner child, really key, and finding self-acceptance. Sharing shame. Let's do the overview. We'll see what comes up and now through that lens of sharing shame as the mantra here. Ready? Magic clap. We start with the divine feminine as the companion archetype, the shadow, betrayal by misusing confidences, loss of personal identity in the shadow, moving towards the light, loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. And that tenacity too is what got her the 10s that she's got here. But in terms of sharing her shame, just because that really is such a game changer for this spread, that any jealousy that she's got going on here with what she wants, it's like, be honest with yourself and really let on, look, I am a jealous person. And it's interesting because I guess even with that 10 of Pentacles, if that jealousy is about the romance, it kind of doesn't matter, right? It's a third eye thing if it really is envy in that way. So really not seeing clearly, and again, a fantasy. Like maybe the fantasy is she doesn't realize how good she's got it, but fantasizes that everything is lackluster. We all go through that, though. There's so many ways that that fantasy card could play itself out. Because with that 10 of Pentacles, it feels so solid, so stable, such harvest. Like she really even has like good, solid people in her life. She's a good friend, a good companion. But with that 9 of Flames in the air position, definitely what she wants. It seems to be maybe persistently or consistently over the next hill, right? Like those floaties in your eye, when you look at them, they keep moving away. You can't exactly focus on them. So maybe she is a little bit defensive about this journey that she's on. You know, I'm going to get there. Don't you tell me otherwise, which sometimes is absolutely necessary, right? Tenacity in the companion light archetype. Because that 10 of Cups, Inanna's House of Heaven, cups overflowing, right? You know, ecstasy hot tub. It just looks so great. So that's in her emotional field. So maybe she has had this before and really, really is feeling it now, or at least is the fantasy. She's living the fantasy and it's really affecting. But that can also be the intuition saying that this is, yes, you are worthy of this. Look, you have the capacity to feel it even just through fantasy. You will feel this, but not in the way and in the timing and in the physical manifestation that we usually expect. Really, because even looking at the soul card there, the position of spirit, Shakti, the life dancer, she is at the end of one phase, which is evident in the 2 10 cards, 10 of Cups and 10 of Pentacles, but not quite in the Fool yet, not really quite in that next step of the leap of faith. However, makes sense, the angel of body care there, she is taking care of herself, which is absolutely essential, particularly at the end of a cycle, right? A soul cycle, a cycle of learning. Keeping in mind that the problem that she brings, again, is fantasy, but the luck that she brings is floating on air. That, you know, that does sort of make sense with that 10 of Cups, the cups overflowing ecstasy. I mean, ecstasy is a floating on air kind of vibe. Is that my kitty coming over here to sit with me? No. Just batting shit around. So, you know, that floating on air thing, I would usually say be careful of that, but this is lucky somehow. It's like she's in a good mood about this. And, of course, with the higher self saying, receive with love and appreciation, receiving something lovingly from others is a way of her showing love, then really she can really be receptive to at least the initiation of what's going on here, the beginning of what's going on here, understanding that they're going to have to share their shame at some point. That's what's going to get the healing really moving here. It is about communication then. For the divine masculine, we're looking at the gambler archetype in the shadow, relying on luck rather than hard work. But as we've seen, it feels like this guy may have been that way, might have been very manipulative, but is now really, because of this contract, or in preparation for this contract, is really moving into the light attribute, willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt him. Really indicated by the star and the moon, right? The position of fire and the position of the soul. In fire, he's got that card of the star that he wants. He's hoping for what he's going to get. Now, she's got the 7 of Cups there, so she may very much be fantasizing about what she wants. He has an image in his mind as well, but he's really, really hoping, trying to follow the guidance and the grace of the divine to get him there, which is essentially the intuitive path. What has he got? His element of earth, the Knight of Cups, the romantic knight, immutable water, connected to 12th house, the intuition, the unconscious mind, all that stuff. Definitely willing to take the romantic quest, but the intuitive, step-by-step, moment-by-moment, breath-by-breath, gut hunch feeling quest. Because what's on his mind one, the Ace of Cups, Aphrodite offering that big old cup. That would be really good for a drag queen. That cup is huge. Would be able he's really thinking about it. He's thinking about making this offer, really wants to make it, or really just wants the beginning of that happiness, that emotional satisfaction. So though she's wrapping something up with the universe card, Shakti, the life dancer, in her soul, in his mind, he's already thinking about, and probably if they have seen each other across a crowded room or know each other somehow, they may be friends, right? With that companion archetype, she might really be a friendly person, but he kind of wants more. He wants that ace. He wants this to begin. And in his emotions, he's got the Two of Pentacles, definitely a card of the inner interior balance, the beginnings of work, the beginnings of stability. Not quite stable there yet, but at least is getting himself together emotionally. While she's doing body care, you could say he's doing heart care, but emotional heart chakra care. And because why? What's going on with all this intuitive gambler stuff? In his soul position is the moon, the goddess Hecate, that yes, there are going to be decisions to be made, but that the guidance is there, but it's more intuitive than intellectual. That's why even in his air position, he's got the Ace of Cups, a cup indicating water, connecting it to the moon. The angel that walks with him answered prayer. I mean, his prayer has been heard and his prayer has been answered. And if his prayer has anything to do with the Ace of Cups, with the star, this is definitely about a romantic thing. Well, that's also the card the higher self gave him. We'll get there in a minute. The thing that concerns me here, as it's always going to, is that card of manipulation. It's not great to be manipulative. Now, I say when the manipulation card comes up in the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, the Six of Blades, that's mental manipulation. That can be a good thing. Meditation, contemplation. That manipulation in and of itself is neutral. I don't get that feeling with this card. So he really needs to be careful that he's not manipulating the odds. Now, it's one thing to, wear a certain cologne, right? It's one thing to, look your best, put your best foot forward. I mean, first date. Who the fuck is completely authentic on a first date? It's almost a rule you're not supposed to be, right? Don't overshare. But there's that real toxic line there of shifting the odds in your favor through underhanded means. Gamblers probably have to deal with that anyway, but it has definitely been done to him. But what has he got for the healing card here? What he brings is this giving. So there is a generosity there, but make sure you're not being generous as a form of manipulation, a gift with a hook in it, so to speak. And yet, the higher self says, the whisper of love is romance. Lavish the one that you love with your personal attention and affection. Now, as beautiful as all this is, and I feel like the two of them really can really help each other heal, let us not forget the sharing shame mantra. When I share my deepest pain, I give myself permission to be. So someone's gonna be kind of exposing themselves emotionally that way, and I gotta feel here that it's the divine masculine, right? With that Two of Pentacles about, look, I'm getting myself in balance, and I've been manipulated, and I've manipulated people, and I'm not proud of it, but I'm doing the best that I can, and I really like you, and please give me a chance. And she's got that receiving with love and appreciation, that she can say, you know what, I have this image in my mind of how I want relationships to be, and I've never manifested it, but I really, really want it, and so they're going to share their deepest pain with each other. And I think the healing here for the two of them, what a powerful contract, helping each other heal in a satisfying sexual, intimate, romantic context. Cool reading. Tricky, but no one said that soulmates are, what is it, peaches and cream 24/7. They're not. There are bumps in the road. How they're brought together is not always so easy, right? Because it's not that we have to earn our soulmates, it's all scheduled, but sometimes we have to prove to ourselves we're ready, right? We have to get through a certain, it's just like learning to drive. You're not allowed to drive. I mean, anybody can drive a car, but it's a good idea to get the learner's permit and the license first, right? So it's probably a really deeper metaphor for relationships than I realize. But if you get this contract is about healing, as all soulmate contracts are, you'll really go very, very far. My Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Look, I took the car relationship metaphor all the way home. Cool, cool. So may the Sagittarian collective be blessed with all that they need in their soulmate contracts for February 2020 and timeless and beyond, to heal, to grow, to learn, to become the best that they can be, to follow their intuition, to be healthy companions, and to be the very best and the very blessed that they can be for their own well-being, for the well-being of the relationship, and for the well-being of all. As one heals, we all heal. And may they share their shame under grace and in perfect ways for the well-being of all. And so it is. So mote it be. Thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what's going on here, because there's some variables here I'd like to see how the blanks fill in. But, you know, keep your privacy too, except the gambler might take the risk. Cool, cool. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'm wishing you the very best and the very blessed as I sign off. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.